Let's leave. I hope the weekend was enjoyable for everyone. Even the man who this video will undoubtedly anger. I'm not sure about you, but I would much rather have a peaceful, easygoing weekend than be the guy in the bar who becomes so wasted that he fights with himself in the mirror. When I wake up and the market is not in ruins, I feel like I'm in a completely different mood. According to a report published 10 days ago, the stock market is having its worst April since the Great Depression. The Nasdaq is currently up for the month of April after 10 days. No story I've seen has said, "Oh, the stock market has had the biggest bounce back ever. Crypto was a sinking ship, they warned us." However, I'm confident that we'll bounce back and things will be easy from here on out. You are aware of how we operate on this channel by now. We discuss cryptocurrency and other topics that amuse me. If that annoys you, know that I also think that's humorous. Right now, I'm not sure which is more challenging: navigating the erratic cryptocurrency market or attempting to reason with those who believe guys can breastfeed. Is it possible for males to become pregnant? Of course they can. What is the process by which a man becomes pregnant? Referred to as but babies or rectal births. It's known as raising a child in some countries. Respectfully, sir, I am the subject matter expert in this case. The late, great George Carlin may have expressed it best. The earth is doing well. The individuals are ... sir. Thus, this should be your next campaign slogan, in my opinion. We were allowed to begin eating infants. Therefore, we are aware that life is all about making wise decisions. However, you might strike it fortunate and meet that special someone if you dedicate the necessary time to honing your art and don't try to hide your errors. Playing games is not why we are here. All we have to do is get back on course. Due to market and regulatory uncertainty that the SEC has regrettably encouraged, innovation has been hampered for the past few years. The fact that one side is acting is encouraging. Sadly, Milli Vanilli is being sent to spend 12 hours sitting on some steps by the opposing side. The Democrats, in my opinion, are attempting to project a more masculine image. Just a suggestion, but they might want to start by getting rid of their organic broccoli and man purses. Mellow yellow woke, light woke, and dark woke. It remains woke. And the Democrats' issue is that I am aware that you come here to get the solutions to all of your difficult questions. Take a look below. Answering certain questions can be quite challenging. What has changed for you guys in the past few months, since the Biden administration? Oh my God. Where do we begin, again? You'd want to you take this one. There is a long list of things that I am unable to think of at the moment. I would check the mental institute, but others are more simpler. Criminals are threatening to contact the police if they are not permitted to steal in our society. Dads in Denver are getting detained, and white liberal suburbanites who grew up as silver spoons are well-versed in gang culture. However, I believe we can agree on a few points. First of all, placing a bald man on your newspaper's front page is not a smart decision. You're bald. Second, deport them if they have committed a crime. No inquiries, they're gone. You will be deported if you are a criminal. Your chances of being apprehended and deported have increased if you intend to enter the US illegally. Whose Crypto is proposing a new change to the XRP ledger. A new standard called XLSD is being discussed by the XRP ledger community to improve the way apps use decentralized identifiers to confirm user identities. As a result, individuals can safely exchange personal information across platforms without depending on centralized authority. It makes digital interaction safer and more dependable by enhancing privacy, trust, and security. The proposal describes how users can take ownership of their own identification data by integrating DIDs into the XRP ledger. Also, have a look at this from the Steining grabber. After 8 days in a row of net outflows of XRP, the selling is flattening down but fatigued. And this is quite fascinating. Tokenization was discussed during a meeting between the SEC Crypto Task Force and Ripple partner Ono Finance. And in a moment, we will examine all of the revised target price targets for Bitcoin and XRP. Let's look at some more popular headlines first, though. This morning, I want to lay out a plan to bring the world financial system and the organizations that support it back into balance. Leaked video of Trump and Sinsky's covert Vatican encounter. You are not in a favorable situation. Right now, you don't have the cards. The Federal Reserve has withdrawn its recommendations for banks on cryptocurrency. The Fed's 2022 and 2023 guideline, which mandates that institutions notify or obtain approval before engaging in cryptocurrency or stablecoin activities, has been formally retracted. The puppets of fake news have switched to a new catchphrase. Tonight, we start with the president's intensifying efforts to combat illegal immigration. Dramatic escalation was achieved through this type of escalatory action. Escalation, intensification, intensification, intensification. We held the yearly dinner for White House correspondents. Every White House, regardless of party, is capable of deceit, as demonstrated by President Biden's fall and the cover-up by those surrounding him. Karine Jean-Pierre's harsh appearance was my big takeaway, continuing to say, "Hey, it Act Blue is unlawful according to President Trump, and Adam Schiff ought to be imprisoned." Does the fact that the man with the pencil neck will be imprisoned for the auto pen strike anyone else as ironic? Jamal Bowman, a former representative, believes that black athletes are disadvantaged by the NFL. The fact that 59 of the first 64 players chosen in the NFL draft were black must have slipped his mind. The OnlyFans star claims that in an attempt to take advantage of the situation, she will have sex with every man selected before Shad or Sanders as her next prank. Virginia Gay, who accused Jeffrey Epstein, committed suicide. Suicide, I'm sorry. Epstein simply has far too many suicides linked to him. In April, U.S. tariff income reached a new all-time high of $15 billion, a 60% increase. The president's announcement that tariff funds will be used to lower or eliminate taxes, with an emphasis on individuals earning less than $200,000 annually, further demonstrates this. You pay taxes on your possessions. Both the things you own and the things you purchase are subject to taxes. Taxes, 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 and then what do they get used for? A lot of the things you are paid for are things you don't even agree with. A new poster for Michelle Obama's podcast has been released. In my opinion, the Biden administration ought to disregard this decision. I'm actually trembling at the moment. The 2028 Democratic National Convention will take place at a new venue. In contrast to the price, the 2 scale nevertheless displays the hidden positive divergence on the RSI and SRSI. You would anticipate another huge move higher if we can maintain the momentum and if the weekly SRSI crosses over 20 and remains above for the upcoming weeks. Keep in mind that the hidden bullish divergence will be eliminated if the price closes below $29 on the 2 scale, and you should anticipate seeing this orange box hit once again. If we step over here and look at Bitcoin, the stochastic RSI shows that we have finally crossed back above the 20 mark. It's quite probable that Bitcoin will reach yet another all-time high if both lines can stay above the 20 mark for the upcoming weeks. Additionally, the RSI crosses back above the yellow line that represents the moving average. This is bullish as well. But we also want a full body candle to close above the top of this descending expanding wedge pattern and this blue line, which is the 21-day simple moving average. Bitcoin and the rest of the altcoin market will have a better chance of gaining ground if it can break these levels. I'll be keeping an eye on it and will notify you of any further developments. Just keep in mind that printing diplomas doesn't end stupidity any more than printing more money does poverty. Congratulations. You are a libtard if you defend principles you don't believe in, argue with facts you haven't checked, and label